Roger Stone joins us. He doesn't normally come on but once a week, a very, very busy man. But he has traveled to New York to ferret out more info, to find out in the campaign what's going on, the devastating victory for populism and nationalism in Indiana a few days ago. The Bush is coming out saying they won't endorse him. Wow, that'd be like Satan saying they won't endorse him. All these wonderful things happening. Such an exciting time right now. Donald Trump doubling down, saying Britain should leave the EU, promising to not shut off our coal mines, saying he'll repeal Obamacare. I've never been more proud of supporting Donald Trump. We're going to cover all the latest developments. He says some big breaking bombs he's going to drop right now. We'll also ask about a report I got from other insiders that we know in the campaign that without Trump knowing, they may have snuck in a guy connected to Goldman Sachs, but who isn't connected to Goldman Sachs when it comes to finance? We're going to look at that as well with Roger Stone of stopthesteal.org. And congratulations, everybody. They may still try to steal it, but that's now a very remote option. I'd say maybe 5% chance. When they were guaranteed to do it, he was the first guy 11 months ago on the show with Richard Reeves, Roger Stone was, to raise the alarm because you got organized, because you got involved, because you pointed out it was wrong to do. The arrogant Priebus's of the world have now been backed into a corner, but the fight is continuing. Let's now go to Roger Stone with breaking intel. Thank you, sir, for joining us in your busy schedule on this Friday.
Alex, I'm delighted to be here. It's a whirlwind day. It is incredible to me to watch the mainstream media continue to focus on the Never Trump group, a handful of people, less than 10% of the Republican Party, and then they completely missed the story of the millions of new voters, new donors, new workers, people who've never been involved in the process before, who are flocking to the Trump banner. I was fortunate to speak to Donald today, and those conversations are private and proprietary, but I must tell you, he is really pumped up. He is really excited. He had a phenomenal crowd in West Virginia yesterday. Now, he makes a very good point. The West Virginia primary is over. The nomination phase is over, and still there are thousands of people turning out to give voice to this revolution. So I have never seen anything like this in the 40 years that I have been involved in American politics. Alex, Trump is a force of nature. He is an unabashed nationalist. He believes in America in terms of sovereignty and American power. And I have concluded after yesterday that while he is more than happy to take money from Wall Street, and while he is more than happy to recognize that Wall Street will play both sides of the street, that they'll fund Hillary at the same time they fund Trump, Trump is above all a businessman. He would be foolish to turn down that money. But given that I have known him for almost 40 years, anybody who thinks Donald Trump can be bought is kidding themselves. He is his own man. His views have been set for 30 years on trade, on immigration, on our absurd fiscal policies. He is still absolutely, I think, in the camp of those who recognize the country needs radical reform, and you're not going to get it from the current two-party leadership.
Roger Stone, you said it. The populism, the almost 3 million new voters coming in, even better than Reagan at this point. They are so scared of his populism. They've lied about him every step of the way. They've been proven totally wrong. And now these arrogant people that ran the Republican Party in the ground, that launched all these evil wars, they tell us that they say we can't have him. What an arrogant group. And look at how their attempt to steal blew up in their face. That con game didn't go well. I smell the death politically of the hijackers of the Republican Party. Beck and others are trying to say he spells the death of the party. No. Trump and populism spells the resurrection of it, in my view.
The smart people in the Republican Party have recognized the millions who are coming to our banner. There have been 9 million people have voted for Donald Trump for the Republican nomination. That is the largest number of voters ever garnered by any Republican nominee for president in history, including the great Ronald Reagan. This is a groundswell, and I think it is interesting that that Speaker Ryan allows today, that he may not support Trump, the manifestation of that, which I can report directly, is, Alex, there's an insurrection today in the House among the backbenchers who want to support Trump. We're trying to figure out what's wrong with their leader. Trump was fielding phone calls from congressmen all morning who are coming on board, who want Trump to visit their districts and their states, and who
he would turbocharge them all, but Ryan and the rhinos do not want access to the other Republicans of this superstar because Trump with populism and the libertarians could take the whole party over. Oh, what a dream.
Yeah, I mean, one major plus today, as you know, George Bush 43 and George Bush 41 announcing that they will not support Trump. This I view as a major plus. Those are two failed presidencies. George W. Bush crashed our economy and wasted money and blood on a pointless war in which America's
These are two New World Order minions. Let me ask you this then. What are the threats that listeners should be aware of? What should we do to continue moving this forward? What do you expect Hillary to do? You know, what's the next hurdles to get over here?
Well, let's talk about the convention, because I have, as I'm sure you have, Alex, been contacted by many patriots who are saying, are you sure we should stand down? Are you sure we aren't going to be subject to some sneak attack by Ted Cruz and his Bush family patrons, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, Paul Singer, and the rest of
the answer is, let me guess, do not stand down, because the sneak attack will be Soros people trying to dominate and control. We need to totally overwhelm them with patriot numbers as a show of support. Is that a good statement?
That is exactly right. And I spoke to the organizers of what was the Stop the Steal rally, which is now going to become a unity and victory rally. And Alex, they're very, very excited about your speaking there in Cleveland. There's no evidence that the groundswell of people coming to Cleveland has been abated.
Oh, no. This is where we're going to face the goblins of Soros more than ever, folks. Now that he has clearly dominated ahead of time, your numbers need to be bigger in my gut level analysis now more than ever.
It's certainly possible. And I think it's important for patriots to show up and to turn out. Let's take nothing for granted. Now, I do think, based on meetings I was in today, that the key committees of the convention, rules, credentials, platform, are going to fall into the hands of the Trump operation. I think it gets harder and harder to pull some backroom steal. The platform now becomes more important because we want that to be a nationalist document that reflects the views of Donald Trump, not a neocon document that represents the failed policies of the Bushes.
Beautiful. What about VP? So many folks are saying get the governor, the former governor of Oklahoma, who's a woman. I'm not for gimmicks, but she's a great lady. Wouldn't that be a good coup against Hillary's female vote claim?
Well, one thing that President Richard Nixon once told me was, when looking for a running mate, don't try to find somebody who can help you. You'd be lucky to find somebody who doesn't hurt you. That is, of course, ironic in view of the fact that both of the running mates that he chose, Spiro Agnew and Henry Cabot Lodge, turned out to be disasters that hurt him in the 68 and the 1960 campaigns. I think you can get too clever here. The good news is that Donald Trump, without the prospect of a contested convention, has much, much broader latitude in who he chooses. He doesn't have to go check the boxes, pick a woman, pick a Hispanic, pick a career politician. And therefore, I got the impression, and he holds this very close to his vest, that he is going to look at a broad cross-section of people that perhaps we haven't considered yet. Now, you do have to be cognizant of the need for vetting. The only advantage of taking somebody who has run for president in the most recent cycle, a John Kasich, a Marco Rubio, is that they're fully vetted. I really don't get the impression that is where he's headed.
So when you say, because boy, I'm salivating here for the exclusiveness of this, when you say he's looking into a section no one ever looked into, is that military? Is that industry? I mean, please tell us what that section is.
Well, I think it could be military, because when he said, I want somebody from the political system, I think what he actually meant was, I need somebody who knows how the government runs. That didn't necessarily mean an elected politician. So it could be for somebody from the military. I think that Trump is very, very shrewd. He understands that two business people on a ticket with no government experience is probably not the best prescription for government. And he wants somebody who can navigate the walls of government to implement his program over the objections.
Sure. Isn't Chris Christie geographically too close, though?
I think Chris Christie would be the wrong choice for a couple of reasons. First of all, the George Washington Bridge scandal is probably not over. The people charged in that scandal are going to go to trial shortly. There's also a very significant civil trial, and it remains to be seen until those two trials are over what Chris Christie's vulnerabilities may or may not be. Geographically, it doesn't make sense. I think it would send the wrong signal. I think Trump is thinking much broader than that. Now, we could all be surprised. Only he is going to make this choice. He's not a man who tips his hand in advance, but I think he's looking at a broad cross-section of people, not necessarily elected politicians.
Well, if I had to give Trump advice, I would tell him go into areas where the social justice warriors are attacking, that continues to discredit them, and to go where folks are waving foreign flags and screaming, you know, kill Donald Trump. I mean, undoubtedly, our footage and other people's footage of that, I think, pushed him way over the edge. To have the communist Chinese and the Pope and all these foreigners just screaming and yelling and telling us what to do, and our own president telling the UK, you've got to stay in the EU. I mean, people are sick of our countries being run by outside interest.
Well, I also have to tell you that a major concern for the overall Trump campaign is, of course, that Hillary has a well-oiled financial machine. She is drowning in Soros money and other illicit, and in some cases, illegal money. And Trump has run a completely grassroots campaign that, as you know, he's largely funded out of his own wallet. So they must very quickly ramp up a financing operation. Now, there's even more news about this group, the Great America PAC. And I want to warn Trump financial donors and those who want to help. This PAC is a scam. Yesterday, Jesse Benton, former aide to Ron Paul and Rand Paul, was convicted of bribery in Iowa for bribing voters and bribing elected officials.
Wow, I didn't know that. He was convicted?
He was convicted. You can find that in the Washington Post.
Wow, he's involved in this? Wow.
Yes. Ed Rollins.
Never liked him.
Ed Rollins, who recently signed on, your viewers may not know this, but his daytime job is working for Teneo. Teneo is the Bill and Hillary connected lobbying firm run by Doug Band, who is, essentially Bill Clinton's bag man. So the chairwoman of this organization, the Great America PAC, Amy Kramer, resigned today over what she said were financial shenanigans and the fact that Ben—
Okay, well, I know you've been criticizing it for weeks, and Trump's people have, so that looks to be sinking now. I know Trump doesn't do real PACs. He needs some to protect himself. You've done one to promote free speech, not really a PAC. But so where do people support Trump? Just buy the ball caps, or?
Well, look, it remains to be seen. This morning, he gave an interview in which he basically conceded super PACs are a necessary evil, and that he has a lot of people out there that want to support him, and that he really can't tell them what to do. To me, that means that individual citizens need to move forward and act.
So it's simple. If you like sovereignty, if you like lower taxes, if you like getting off the coal mines back, if you like cheaper energy, if you want to put America first, or at least on an equal playing field, support Trump. And he says, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. As long as he doesn't go back on his pledges, I don't see that as an issue.
Rock solid, Alex, rock solid. Donald Trump is not going to abandon Trumpism. Anybody on Wall Street who thinks that Trump can be bought or bullied—
No, that's why they're so scared of him. I get it. They're more scared than ever. So let me ask you this then. What about the story? I called you yesterday. You were going to New York. You didn't know yet. but I have my sources, and I looked it up. The guy's connected to Goldman Sachs, the Koch brothers, George Soros. I mean, I know when you get in politics, they're all connected to it, and Trump's never has been. That's why he's such an outsider. But what about this new finance head? You weren't sure at the time. An hour later, it turned out that was his new finance head. Exclusive, Koch Soros insiders attempt to take over Trump campaign. Do you know anything about this?
Well, I learned about it as you did, but as I say, now that I have been over to Trump Tower and had a number of conversations, I'm entirely comfortable. Trump is using them. They're not using him. Trump is going to take the Wall Street money. But if the boys on Wall Street think they're buying anything, they don't understand Donald Trump. He is not a guy you can buy. So hedge fund managers are going to pay a higher tax rate, Alex. He's not going to give up his opposition to these.
Yeah, that's why he's so mad at him. Well, because they've already had it basically tax exempt with this Irish shuffle or whatever that stuff is where they go offshore. I mean, that is fair. They pay taxes if they, I mean, yeah.
Well, and the treatment of carried interest for the hedge fund donors. These guys gave Jeb Bush $100 million to stop Trump, and they failed. And in the end, Jeb Bush ended up emulating Donald Trump's position on how hedge fund managers should be taxed.
That is great irony. I've never seen them not give to both sides. I mean, and now if they get forced to go give to Trump, that is going to be sick.
No, the great part is they think they're conning him. He's conning them. Donald Trump can't be conned. He's too smart for that.
So you've talked to him, and he said, yeah, I've got some of the best managers. I'm going to open the floodgates up, but he's not going to even look at the donations then. They're just going to pour in. He's going to use them.
Yeah, I don't think he has any choice. We're up against a multi-billion-dollar effort by Hillary and Bill Clinton and their many financial tentacles. So I think he has to operate within the law. He's going to have to take campaign funds, which now, by the way, all go to the Republican Party. They all go to the Victory Fund. But any special interest who thinks you can buy a piece of Donald Trump by donating, they're going to be very, very...
I was about to say, what about that problem with the leadership still saying they want to kill him politically, and then money people give go to them? I mean, Paul Ryan, I'm so sick of him.
Yeah, I agree.
We've only got 2 minutes left. I appreciate you popping in with us and giving us these exclusives. What are the other bombshells? Any other big tidbits, Mr. Stone?
Well, it's interesting that new polling we have looked at shows that the gap between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump just within the last week has closed to single digits. So the mainstream media claim that Trump is hopelessly behind. He can't possibly make up this ground. That narrative is entirely false. Supporters of Trump, patriots, free thinkers, don't be daunted by these poll numbers. Trump is well in range, and he has gained substantially since the Indiana primary. So I'm more bullish than ever. And here's the things I like. The polling that I have looked at, Trump is running substantially ahead of where Romney and McCain ran among African Americans.
But if he attacks her, she's weak. It'll destroy her. No one ever attacks her.
I don't think we have to worry about that whatsoever. Donald Trump completely understands her great vulnerabilities. Her abuse of women, her disastrous tenure as Secretary of State,
Benghazi.
fiasco in Benghazi, the entire deposing of Gaddafi in Libya, and then there's the Clinton Foundation, a slush fund for grifters.
Sure, when you talk to him, though, I would caution him. People know she was with Obama, and they created him to a certain extent. Go after Fast and Furious. Go after IRS persecution. Just hit her with everything. It's all her fault. The derivatives, the scams of the 90s, destroy them. Just hit her on every front. Bring her down. And I tell you, it's good news. The FBI is getting closer to her. What's your word on that? I mean, they're talking to all her girlfriends right now.
Yeah, I mean, the real question here is, do Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills take the fall? Now, if you listen to Hillary's operation, they'll tell you she's not even under investigation, that we must be delusional. When my friend Judge Napolitano, who is a great fan of yours, Alex, goes on and lays this out, the clowns at Media Matters for America insist that she's not even under investigation. What planet do these fellows live on? So, I think justice is going to be served one way or another, and that's a steamer trunk on her back. Let me just say this. Trump completely understands her vulnerabilities. He knows that he has got an embarrassment of riches when it comes to issues that he can raise about her past conduct, her integrity, and her disastrous public record. She is not going to know what hit her.
Hillary Clinton's not going to know what hit her. Roger Stone, have a great weekend. I know you'll be working hard. God bless you, my friend. Wow, exciting times. Any way you slice it, this is the ultimate political war game of the century.
You're going to look back in years from now, and you're going to say it was the single greatest vote you've ever cast. And here's why. Because our country is going to start winning again. We're going to win with our military. It's being depleted. We're going to build up our military, make it stronger, bigger, better than ever before. And we're going to knock the hell out of ISIS, just so you understand. We have no choice. We have no choice. As part of that, we're going to take care of our great veterans. Our veterans have been left behind very unfair. We're going to win on education. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're bringing education local. We're going to win on education. We're going to repeal Obamacare, and we're going to come up with something that's so much better and less expensive. We're going to save and protect and cherish our Second Amendment. We're going to build the wall. We're going to have Mexico pay for the wall, and we're going to have strong borders, and we're going to have people come into our country, but they're going to come in legally. And we are going to make unbelievably good trade deals. No more stupid deals where our businesses and our money get sucked out of our country. We're going to make great trade deals done by the greatest people. We have the greatest negotiators in the world right here in this country, and we're going to use them. We're not going to use political hacks that don't know what they're doing, and probably, who the hell knows, they're bought off, and that's why they're making such bad deals. We're going to make the greatest trade deals. And you're going to look back and you're going to say, you know what? That's when we started winning again. When Trump took over. And we're going to win. We're going to keep winning. We're going to win so much you're going to beg me, Mr. President, please, please. It's too much winning. We can't take it. And I'm going to say, I don't care. We're going to keep winning because we're going to make America great again.